There is a particular species of shrew that injects a dose of anesthetizing venom into its prey, so it can feed at leisure while the victim is still alive. Maybe it's a kindness. More likely, it's just nature's inclination to keep you still and compliant as disaster strikes. You only realize you're fucked when it's too late. Think about it. Markets crash when investors are feeling fat and happy. Spouses leave when their jilted partners are convinced things are finally on the right track again. And when it's your turn, there's nothing you can do. You're the mouse. That short-tailed shrew bearing down on you with an oily grin, that's the old familiar bastard, fate. In my case, the early months of the new year passed in not unpleasant monotony, our household bobbing along in the privileged waters of the Upper East Side. My husband worked hard and made a lot of money. I was a stay-at-home mom of 2 young children, a pampered wife with a busy social calendar, a sought-after friend with a reputation for the mildly outrageous. At least, I had been for a time, when everything I touched turned, if not into gold, at least into Instagram posts with hundreds of likes and invitations to every party worth going to, and the fawning admiration of those on the fringes of my circle. Dear listener, allow me to give you a little preview of my story. I had it all once, but I let it slip away. I'd been a golden girl all my life. Rich, spoiled, attractive, confident, with a talent for cultivating envy. But as I reached the midpoint of my 30s, I grew sloppy, or lazy, or distracted. It's hard to remember exactly why I stopped trying, and I lost my luster. People noticed. They drifted away. When I realized how far my star had fallen, I became desperate to fight my way back. Naively, I thought it couldn't get any worse than to be irrelevant. I lost my way. And then I lost my nerve. And then I made a mistake. It was a chilly evening in May, and James and I were attending our daughter's lower school play at the exclusive Gray Lawn Academy on the Upper East Side of New York City, where our children would soon be finishing kindergarten and 2nd grade. James had been working around the clock on a new deal, a former nursing home in Chelsea that his firm was turning into luxury condos, and I'd ordered him to take a night off and come to the performance. You don't show up to such an event without your husband, unless you wish to answer for it all night. Managing our husbands is one of the skills on which we judge each other. I had asked our nanny to stay late and watch Henry, our younger child. I'd already dropped Paige off at the school to get ready for the play, in which she had a minor role as a mushroom. The play was a morality tale about inclusivity, as far as I could tell, told through vegetables. Benilda's contract was for 8 a.m. to 5 p.m. each weekday, plus additional hours as needed, for which we paid her extra. James had asked me several times why we couldn't cut back on her hours now that both Henry and Paige were in school. James didn't grow up here. He's from Allentown, and he could be insensitive to the fact that certain things simply weren't done. Our compromise was to ask Benilda to take on the housekeeping and laundry, which allowed us to let our twice-a-week housekeeper go. At work, James had no problem managing a staff of 11, but Benilda, with her thick black bob cut precisely jaw-length, her acid-washed jeans, the rapid-fire conversations she had on the phone in Tagalog with her daughters, could reduce him to silence with a single, "Not so fast, Mr. James." This, in fact, was what she said as we were leaving, our contribution for the evening's charity collection in my hands, a stack of women's thermal underwear still in the Gap bag. "Not so fast, Mrs. Julia. Take this for school." She handed me a small box wrapped in shiny, cheap paper I didn't recognize. I'd always encouraged Benilda to help herself to my gift wrap closet. Before the holidays, I mailed her packages to her daughters in Sorsogon myself. What's this? Paige wanted to buy her own gift for poor kids. We went to CVS. She used her birthday money. I was torn between pride in my daughter and resentment that Paige had confided this wish to Benilda and not me. Lord knows I'd tried to foster a generous spirit in her, but empathy tends to be in short supply among 8-year-olds.